creatives because I think maybe you need more time for that. So, we can do that on Friday.
Okay. Yeah.
And that means that today we have to think about what else we want to do.
We can look through. We can look through the app performance and the creatives that has been performing and those that didn't perform so well. What do you think?
Hmm. Um. Hmm. I think if we're gonna look at the creatives on Friday, we can think through something else for now. Because I don't want to just spend all of the time on the creative.
Mm,
Like how I feel is that we want to zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in sometimes so that we don't get stuck doing that one thing.
okay.
So maybe now is a good time for us to zoom out and think about our goals, what we want, how we can do things better, where we're stuck, where we can collaborate a lot more better.
Okay.
And today I was thinking about, or today I was writing content, summarizing a lot of my own Dan Sullivan learnings from Strategic Coach. Then as I was going through that process, it made me think about a few things. Or maybe I can share a few concepts that I thought about a lot today and see how we
Okay.
can apply to the business.
Okay.
So Dan Sullivan has a lot of very famous teachings which I really love. The first is the concept of who not how. So you know how when we are stuck, the first thing that comes to mind is always like, how do I solve this problem? How do I get more creatives done? How do I meet the deadline? Usually the first instinct is for us to go to the how because it's conditioned throughout our lives. However, the argument from him and Dean Jackson is that actually the who question is more empowering in the sense that if we don't meet up, like, if we say we're gonna finish the creatives and maybe we didn't, like maybe probably it's because we're procrastinating in some way or we don't know how to do something somehow, and therefore we can bring in the who question, which is who can help me get unstuck? Who, is it a Fiverr person? Do we need to pay somebody 10, 15, $20 to help us churn out some content on a regular basis so that we don't get stuck? Who do we know that is extremely competent at video editing and image making that can give us some feedback on the creatives that we have? So, when you think about the who, then sometimes it gets you unstuck.
Mm,
Yeah, so that's something that I've been thinking about, not specifically for I wasn't thinking about it specifically for the creatives because you only just mentioned to
yeah.
me that. However, yeah, I think it's applicable. It's quite applicable in many situations, lah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, like I with regard to the creatives, I also thought about it. Like I'm not good at this, to be very honest. I don't specialize in creatives, and a lot of them is I learn on the spot because it needs to be done and we don't have the resources to get somebody to do it. So I pick up, I learn how to do Canva, and also I think we don't have a lot of creatives. I mean, exist content on hand that can be used. So I have to look for things that are available online and see how that can be applicable for us and how that can be created into something that we can use that still makes sense for us to use in our creatives. Yeah, so I also thought about it. I was asking myself how I can make this more efficient for myself so that, because I know this is going to be a long term thing, or at least on the next few months, this is something that that we will have to focus a lot on, churning out content, quality content fast enough every single week. So I was also thinking like, is this something that we can work, we can produce, how I can produce this on with as little time as possible. Yeah. Yeah, I think like based on, I was thinking a lot of how, and then I also thought about who. But the problem is, I think there are people who are better than me at doing this and who we can pay. But I'm just not too sure if at this juncture, at this point, there is something. I was thinking at this point, at this juncture, we probably try to save costs. So I will just do it on my own and try to see what I can do from that. Yeah.
Okay, so let me talk about two more concepts that I just wrote about today as well by Dan Sullivan. The first is the concept of unique ability. So the concept of unique ability is that there are certain things which you are naturally predisposed to, that you're much better at, that you prefer, that lights you up, maybe from a young age. Things that are like, wow, this is amazing. Like, the things that your friends will come to you for help with because you're really good at those things. Like maybe for me, it'll be around Google Ads strategy stuff. Maybe even when people are stuck and they need to understand or need a different way to think about things, because I read a lot of books and it comes to me very naturally to read books. So I've loved these concepts that almost by any situation I can throw up some new concept and discuss. So this whole thing about unique ability is like, ideally in business, we want to go about trying to find our unique ability. And when you find that, then this is the whole Naval Ravikant thing as well of do what feels like play to you but looks like work to others. Yeah. And then the second concept is the ABC concept that he brings about. A is irritating work, B is okay work, and C is annoying and frustrating work. Sorry, C is a word that is fascinating and motivating. A is the annoying, frustrating, or like one of the directions. I can't remember which direction. But basically, let's say A is irritating, B is okay, and C is fascinating. Something that we really want to think about is that how do we spend more time doing the C work? Usually that means we need to talk to the team and see who is happy to do some of your irritating work. Or maybe the work that you feel like, okay, your ceiling is quite capped, and maybe it's not even that expensive to get somebody to do on a regular basis. So, we combine these few concepts, right? Usually, the reason we are not willing to pay somebody else to do something which maybe we're not good at and we find irritating is because we aren't super sure what's the unique ability we can bring to the table to each of the business, to this business. Because when it's very clear which parts you're good at, then it becomes more easier to figure out, okay, how do you spend more time on those things such that it becomes so obvious that the strategy is to pass things on to other people. And if you ask me so far, what I noticed for you, what you're probably good at is you're good at seeing gaps. You're good at seeing the problems. You're good at seeing the challenges. Like you're good at criticizing things, discerning judgment of things. It's Yeah, I mean it comes to you super naturally, and you do enjoy doing that a lot, even though sometimes it's not even always welcome, but you're still willing to do it because you like it and you're good at seeing those things. So actually, I think in a lot of these situations, it's like uh your perfect collaborator will be somebody that produces a lot of content and that takes feedback fast, so you can give the person a lot of feedback. Because probably if somebody gives you a whole bunch of creatives, you're probably good at seeing how to make those things better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts on what your unique ability is? Like what things are like wow, this is what I'm really good at and I love doing.
For me, I I'm not too sure, but I think I never give it like a lot of thought. Yeah. Because I think I've been doing a lot of things that I really never really think about or what is the area that I'm really, really good at or really, really strong at. But yeah, I think it's interesting you raised that point. I think you're right that I think I'm naturally more what do you call that? More skeptical about certain things, certain concepts. Then I will try to think like, oh, I will try to poke holes in terms of like, okay, what I think wouldn't do well, or like what are the assumptions in this case, or that I think are assumptions that we need to verify. And in terms of the example that you use, yeah, creatives, I think you're right. Yeah, probably in the position because I have ideas in terms of what can be done, what can be done well, or what can be done better. But it's just that in terms of execution or creating the creatives, I may not be the fastest to do it for sure. Yeah, compared to someone who churn this out on a regular basis. Yeah. So for me, I mean, with regards to creative production, I spend quite a bit of time. I spend quite a lot of time thinking about okay, what angles or how we can present the ideas better. So I go online, I go Pinterest, I look at other people's posts, I look at other apps, see what are the things that I think can do well, I think we can use for our angles. And then so that is one thing that took quite a lot of my time. Then after that, the execution is gonna take up even more time for me because I need to find the content that fits in, look through the videos that we have, and then think of how I can edit those things into a video. Yeah, doing the video editing. Yeah, so yeah, lor. I think I don't particularly enjoy the process, but to me I just tell myself, okay, this is something that has to be done. And right now maybe we don't have the resources to do it. Or I also never explore like whether what are the options out there. Then I just got to push myself through and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's a false assumption that we do not have the resources because we want to do this quickly and we're spending quite a bit on ads. It's probably worth like a few $100s per month if we get extra raw chunks of videos. And then maybe the part that you can come in so that we can save costs is to change the music, do different voiceovers, add different hooks at the start so that we can maximize the use of each of the creatives. Like the very time consuming part that is not so scalable part, which is getting to do the main body chunk of it. I think that part, we can definitely, at least at the same time as you doing it, maybe can explore, go into Upwork, Fiverr, find somebody else that at least has a bit of basic knowledge and just, try 3 people and see what happens. Give this person 50 or $100, like try to see if we can keep it to that level and what's the quality. So at least we know, hopefully we can find people that can work with us long term that produces certain pieces of content on a regular basis. Then when we evaluate the thing, we can give the person feedback. Yeah. I mean, if you're okay with it, and so how I personally approach these things, right, is that if I hate it, then immediately I pass to someone else. If I'm okay at it and it doesn't take that much time, sometimes okay, I just do it myself.
Okay.
Yeah, because energy is finite. If we spend time on things that are draining for us, then we don't have time to do the parts that we are good at and that we like to do. Then, because usually if you procrastinate or you don't finish a certain task, usually it's a like the reason is that you don't enjoy it enough. And especially if the task is not something that's very difficult, lah. Or you're spending too much time on things that you don't. Because I think if you zoom out from the picture a bit more, it's actually good for us to have a couple of third-party video editors for the long term that we can take a lot of load off, especially when it's full already, we probably don't want to continue doing this. So we probably need some people to work alongside us on this front. And creatives is probably the bottleneck. And if the creatives is the bottleneck and so most of the resources should be allocated to the bottleneck. I really think that if we can improve the creatives, like that's the part that you're spending the most time. And if we can improve the flow for that, we can probably spend on ads and we can get the results faster.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think I'm okay. I think creating of creatives to me is a okay task. Like I don't mind doing, but it will take me a lot of time if I want to do it. I want to do it myself. Yeah. Then I'm okay doing it because I feel like I have the ideas and I think I want to see how this thing how I have the ideas and I want to put these ideas into like actual product. But just that I feel if I want to do it, then it will take me quite some time lah. Yeah. Then in terms of what you have said, yeah, I agree that it now that we zoom out, and I think it makes sense, especially since, like what you say, it's a bottleneck and it's a very crucial part of our business for longevity and for sustainability of the business. It would be good for us to start exploring someone who can create and produce creatives for us on a regular basis at a cheap price.
Yeah, and I don't even think it has to be like super, super cheap in the sense that, if you're paying $50 per video that is decent, not like super good, but like not bad, it's probably sustainable for us because one video we can repurpose and we find something that works, we can, yeah, something around that lines now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so probably something else is the creatives that you have used and created in the past. Can we change a few small things to the front of it? Change the music, change the color or something so that it appears as a new one. That's another way to shortcut the process because keep creating from scratch is like, I think it's not especially the first set of creatives, we had some winning ones, right? That was doing well at the start. So
Yeah,
I think it's probably worth, using those again.
using those as in like reusing those, but just change the background a little bit. Is that what you
Change the
mean?
background, change the hook at the start, change the music, or change some small things. Maybe it's even at the start of the video, there's a scene that shows like, oh, zoom into the ear skin thing and zoom out again. That's something a bit more hooky, like a visual hook.
Mm.
Or like change into the machine plus the problem or something, like some certain visual hooks at the start so that the body of the video can be used many more times. Because one video at the body, I think, can probably at least have 10 to 20 different variations. Until we see like, oh, definitely not working anymore, then we restart. So we can save time.
Okay, okay.
Okay, cool. Anyway, I gotta go. So let's chat again on Friday because tomorrow I'm flying. If anything,
Okay,
just WhatsApp me.
can.